Well, currently, you can't drive a semi-truck across state lines unless you're at least 21. A bill backed by Indiana Representative Trey Hollingsworth would lower that to 18. The goal is to open up the industry to more people in an attempt to address a growing driver shortage. But critics say the bill is trying to put a Band-Aid on the problem without attempting to address what's causing it. Tyler Lake reports.
You might have seen the headlines, the ones like this that say we are experiencing a big shortage of truck drivers. And you'll hear the same thing if you talk to representatives from trucking companies.
At the end of 2017, the American Trucking Association shared the number of 50,000 as the driver shortage.
The association doesn't have current Indiana-specific numbers, but Hunt says as of a few years ago, there was a shortage in the state of about 4,500 drivers. It's noteworthy that there's a truck driver shortage when the country is experiencing record low unemployment, and drivers can make more than the national average without having to get a college degree. Nonetheless, trucking companies say they are in constant need of qualified drivers. Garrett Nolman is the safety and compliance officer for his family's trucking company now, but he started out like this, behind the wheel of a big rig.
Companies are offering tens of thousands of dollars of sign-on bonuses, but it's still not covering the whole.
According to government data, the average truck driver made about $44,000 a year last year. Compare that with the inflation-adjusted average of just more than $55,000 a year in 1980. That means truck drivers make less now than they did nearly 4 decades ago. That, many truck drivers say, is one of the causes of the shortage. Trucking's not an easy job. It's long hours and a lot of unpaid downtime.
Considering the number of hours that truck drivers work and the conditions they work under, meaning that they're away from home for weeks at a time and they spend a lot of time away from home, missing events, missing family gatherings.
Taylor says the turnover for truck drivers is about 94%, and she thinks much of that is because of how drivers are paid.
They don't pay them by the hour, they pay them by the mile. So they only pay them if they're actually in a truck moving.
That means drivers can spend hours sitting in loading docks or waiting in line to receive cargo, and they won't get paid for any of that time. And experts say that even when they are on the road, the per-mile rate is still too low. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, drivers are getting between 30 and 40 cents per mile.
If they're only working 60 hours a week, that would be really good, right? But to get there, they got to get paid 60 cents a mile, and that's about 50 cents, 50% more than they're getting paid now.
Belzer says in this market, you have to be an experienced driver to work fewer than 60 hours a week and still bring home a decent paycheck. So carriers say there aren't enough drivers to meet their needs, and drivers say the pay is just too low, and that's why there's so much turnover. But will the Drive Safe Act's goal of opening up the field to younger drivers actually solve that problem? Hunt says that getting drivers right out of high school could be a big boon for the industry.
By the time someone turns 21, they may already be in an industry or a career that works for them. So it's a little bit more challenging to get them into the trucking industry.
It's a hard sell for young people who wonder whether they really want to invest the time to make truck driving a long-term career. And critics worry that getting young drivers behind the wheel of big rigs is dangerous. Dozens of studies show drivers between 18 and 21 have significantly higher accident rates. The Drive Safe Act does require training for young drivers that isn't required for new drivers over the age of 21. But Belzer says the proposed legislation probably wouldn't bring in many more drivers. Whether it's a driver shortage or incredibly high turnover, all sides agree there's a sense of urgency to find a solution. The average age of drivers on the road now is 55 years old, and that could mean an even bigger driver shortage as those older people retire. For Indiana News Desk, I'm Tyler Lake.